Welcome everybody to Love versus Hate. My name is Anne and I am your typical nerd.
And I'm Emily, and I'm definitely not a nerd. Some would say I'm a millennial, mainstream millennial.
Technically, I am also a millennial, but I'm the cool millennial that's a nerd. But anyway, on this podcast, we like to debate about things, obviously, as you can tell. We like to debate a lot about the things in life that we love and hate.
But there is no debating on this topic. My dog Steve is very loud right now.
Yeah, he's a little loud. He's chewing on a bone. We are currently in Emily's house, and her dog is here.
Yes, and his name is Steve.
And he's very, very cute.
And for all those asking, no, we did not name him. He came that way.
That was my immediate question. I'm glad you answered that right away. On today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about TV shows, and we're focusing specifically on some dramas.
Ooh, I love me a drama.
I do too, even though Emily's still going to hate my pick. But,
yeah, I just found out what it was, and I got really sad.
You know what, just have an open mind, okay? You might actually enjoy it.
No.
All I'm asking is for an open mind. It's not that much to ask. Come
on. Ugh. I'll try and pretend that I will.
Okay. Well, as long as I believe it, that's what counts, I suppose, right? Not actually your heart behind it.
I just wanted to say that I'm so excited to listen to Office Ladies podcast. It came out, technically for us, it came out yesterday.
Yeah, but by the time you guys are listening to this, it's probably been about a week. So
yeah.
Are you guys behind? Because you're now a whole week behind. Get caught up.
Yeah, who loves The Office? Because you know me and Jenna Fisher.
Yeah.
I have an obsession, possibly.
I think we should still commit to the idea of Jenna finding you with creating a hashtag and finding a way to make this happen.
We gonna find you.
We're gonna find. Oh man, yeah. Well, we're not gonna do it creepy like. We're gonna do it in a cool way.
Okay.
Maybe our podcast is gonna be popular enough that Jenna's gonna listen to it one day, and she's gonna be so happy to learn that you're her number one fan.
Yeah. Maybe she'll ask me to guest star in her podcast. Probably not.
If that happens, though, we are definitely going to have to work on your Office trivia.
Yeah, we did some Office trivia today. We did 20 questions from the first 20 episodes, and I only could answer one. And I was like, everything else I have no idea even happened.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a rewatch. And I'll watch with you because I've actually never even finished The Office. I've watched the first 3 seasons, I think.
It's a disgrace. I know.
I'm sorry.
I need to work on that.
I was raised with Parks and Rec. I was an original Parks and Rec person. It's just better.
No, stop, Anne. Just stop.
So rude. We are going to keep our intro a little bit shorter than we sometimes usually do, because we do have a lot to cover with the TV shows we're going to be watching today. But before we go, I just want to say, thank you guys so much for everyone who commented on our Facebook post with ideas for stuff for us to talk about.
Yes.
We're really excited to try them out. It'll happen in an upcoming episode at some point. We don't know exactly when, but it will happen. So thank you guys for commenting. We love the love.
We love it, and we hope you guys are really loving all the episodes that you're listening to so far, too.
Yeah, and, we'll do a quick plug like we do at the end of the episode. If you guys just check us out on social media, if you want to email us, you can email us at loveversushate
podcast at gmail. Yes. So Jinx. So before we get into it, I'm just going to take away Steve's bone because he's really annoying me right now.
Okay. All right, so now that Steve doesn't have his bone, we're going to keep going with the episode. And we're going to start with my TV show that I picked for our TV show dramas.
Who cannot just wait? Oh, I don't hear anybody. That was probably the best thing I've ever said on this podcast.
Yeah, that actually was pretty amazing. It was so amazing I didn't know how to respond. That was a good burn. So the show that I'm showing Emily is called Battlestar Galactica.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
I knew you were going to say that. That's an Office joke for anybody who may not know. But yeah, so now you'll actually kind of understand that joke.
That's the only thing that I will give an open mind to is because it's referenced on The Office.
Yeah, but now you'll actually slightly understand the reference a little bit better. All right, well, it's okay. I'm going to go into it a little bit. So you have to understand that the episode I'm going to show you, it's technically season 1, episode 1, but before this episode aired, there was a mini series that took place beforehand that set up the whole series. So you're gonna miss a lot of the like backstory. So I'm gonna have to give it to you a little bit. Okay, I'll keep it brief. So, in the beginning, so basically a little bit of backstory, and this is all stuff that you learn, and I think it's 3 episodes is the miniseries, but each is like an hour and a half, so they're long episodes.
Is that how long ours is?
No, ours is only going to be about like 45 minutes. So that's why I didn't want to show you the miniseries, is because they're long episodes.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. That's why we're starting with season 1, episode 1, but you're going to miss a lot of context because you're not seeing the miniseries. So the miniseries sets up, there are these 12 colonies, and there's humans.
Actually, there's 13 original colonies. Okay,
Anyway, well, what's interesting is because there was supposed to be 13, but the 13th one, there was a group of people that left and they traveled and were never heard from again, which does play a factor into the show. I totally
get that.
Yeah. Is that you right now?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, and humans live on these colonies, and they're each like individual planets, and they, are thriving just like pretty much normal everyday life. It takes place technically it's way in the past, but the worlds are like futuristic worlds where there's space travel and like they have, ships that can fly through space. Okay. Are you picturing it a little bit?
Are these people humans in the show? Okay.
And the humans created these machines that were called Cylons. And Cylons were originally used to do all of the things humans didn't want to do, mining and all that kind of stuff. But the Cylons became so intelligent that they actually started to fight back. And there was a massive Cylon war where the Cylons and the humans just fought. And eventually the humans decided we need to just get rid of all Cylons. And so, they didn't actually technically get rid of them. What they did is they sectioned them off and were like, okay, you need to go do your own thing. And they set up this treaty so that, I forget exactly, they explained in the miniseries, I need to watch it again. But every so many years they come together and they'll meet, and the Cylons and the humans will meet. And they'll just have a conversation and make sure yo, we still good, you're doing your thing, we're doing our thing, we cool, right? We cool.
Except for in much more boring terms, I imagine.
Yeah, a little bit. But the miniseries opens with that meeting happening. It's been X amount of years since the war, everything's calm, we're at peace, and the human is going to meet with the Cylon, and this woman walks out. And so we, as the audience, learn that Cylons now look exactly like humans, but the people don't know that.
OMG, plot twist.
Super big plot twist. And the Cylons are now basically throughout the whole miniseries. Also, big spoiler alerts. If you're going to watch a show, these are a bit spoiler. But anyway, moving on. And so now we learn throughout the miniseries, the Cylons made this massive plan to completely obliterate humans. And so they destroy all of the planets, and they basically wipe out the human race, except for a small band of humans, which again, you learn throughout the miniseries, it kind of they lay out how this all happens. But eventually this small fleet of about 50 ships managed to come together, and there's about 50,000 humans left on this fleet, and they are fleeing the Cylons, and the Cylons are now chasing them.
Okay, hold up.
Okay.
This all takes place in space?
Well, it starts on some planets and stuff, because there's the 12 colonies that are planets, but
the people live on a specific planet?
Yeah, well, they show specifically Cobalt, I think, is the main one, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it's called Cobalt. So they're showing some humans living on this planet, but there's 12 planets that humans live on, but the Cylons wipe every single one of the planets out. Actually, I take that back. They wipe them all out except for the major one, which is Cobalt, I think.
So are Cylons aliens?
I need to look that up. It's going to bug me. No, Cylons are machines. They're human-made machines. No, there are no aliens.
Well, then that's stupid.
Good sci-fi does not require aliens to be good.
Well, good sci-fi does actually. Sorry
this is really bugging me. I don't think, is it cobalt? I'm looking it up, everybody. For everyone who's listening and is like, you're not saying it right. I'm looking it up now so you can stop saying it. It is cobalt. Yes. Okay, anyway, I was saying it right.
Point for Anne.
Point for me, don't doubt yourself. It was cobalt. So,
also, don't question Emily.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way last episode for anyone who listened. DVDs can be played in PS2s, I learned. Anyway, so Cobalt technically, so all of the planets have been destroyed except for Cobalt, which is like the main hub, and that's where like the largest cities and everything is. The Cylons are occupying it, but they haven't destroyed that planet yet. And you learned throughout the show that there are some characters that are still on Cobalt, and you kind of learn what happened to them too, and like things that happen on Cobalt. So, but the majority of it takes place in space. And so what Battlestar Galactica is that's a military ship, and that's the main ship that is the main like protector of the fleet because it's actually a warship.
Question.
Okay.
What kind of bear? Just kidding.
Is best. Oh, you're funny.
Is there water in space?
An
because
interesting
every
question.
time you say ship, I keep thinking of like a not a spaceship, but a boat.
There is, actually, it's interesting that you bring that up because I really debated on showing you the first episode or the second episode, which is called Water, because...
Whoa,
yeah,
it's like I knew, but I didn't, I swear.
We're going to watch the first episode, though, I decided, but the second episode is interesting because the whole premise is that one of their main waterways blows, and they lose, like, a huge amount of their water supply, and... They know they only have X amount of time before they're going to run out of water, and so they have to try and find water in space, and it's like a needle in a haystack kind of search. It's a really good episode. But the big thing in Battlestar Galactica that makes it really interesting is slowly over time, the humans start to learn that Cylons now look like humans, and that's a huge plot of the show is because not everybody knows, and two, who's a Cylon? And you don't get to know. You find out over the course of the show. But
so you haven't spoken about any characters. Are there actual characters, or are they all humans or whatever you said?
Well, yes, those are the two. That's the two type of...
Are there people, do people have names here?
Yes, you'll get to learn all their names. I was trying to keep it brief. I can go into a lot more detail if you want. But I'll give you a couple key characters. Which, actually, I have some fun facts, too. We'll go into fun facts after I give you key characters.
I don't think there can be any fun facts.
Okay, so there's the Adamas. So Admiral Adama is one of the lead characters who's played by Edward James Olmos, who's phenomenal in the role. And he is in charge of Battlestar Galactica. He is the guy who runs it. He's in charge of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Admiral.
Actually, I think he becomes an admiral throughout the show, but I don't think he starts that way. I need to watch this show again.
Oh, and by the way, where do people watch this show?
You can watch the show on Amazon Prime.
Yes. Hopefully Amazon Prime is broken so we don't have to watch. You're
so mean. Okay, so he starts as Commander Adama, but eventually he does become Admiral, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry. I haven't watched this show in a while. It's absolutely amazing, and I need to do a serious rewatch, but
yeah, when did you watch this?
Oh, it's been a few years ago. I think I was like in high school still, or I might have been in college.
How old is it?
So the original series was actually made in 1978, and it had some pretty like diehard fans, but it wasn't... it was not necessarily like super great. It was kind of cheesy. I mean, it was made in the 70s, so they had limited technology at the time, so it wasn't like super fantastic. But it had, like I said, it had a good following, and they had some diehard fans. And then in the early 2000s, Universal Studios decided to revisit Battlestar Galactica and like rewrote it and like made a whole new like series out of it. And the biggest controversy, this is some fun facts, I didn't even get into the characters. We'll go back to that in a second.
I don't need to. I'll just forget them 5 minutes later.
That's fine. You'll learn them, you'll see them in the show. But yeah, like one of the biggest, for the most part, the characters and like the setting and the Cylons and the war and like all of that is pretty much the same.
The only biggest difference is, like, obviously they're able to expand it a lot more and they kind of push the boundaries with it, but in the new series, they decide to make it cyberpunk woman, and they call that made-up.
Like, what do we do? What doesn't seem right? Tell me.
Nothing. All right, that was interesting. Thanks for sharing all of that information.
You're welcome. Now we can watch the show.
So
how long was that? That was quite a while. I'm sorry.
I'll keep mine. Will be a lot shorter.
So we just finished episode 30. We just finished episode 1 of season 1, which is called 33. And also, I do have to clarify, I'm the worst person ever. It wasn't Cobalt, it was Caprica. Cobalt is something that comes later in the show that you would find out about later. Caprica. That was the
Capricorn.
name. That was the name of the planet that is like where, that is the one planet that ended up surviving. It's an occupied planet by the Cylons, but there's characters that you meet there and things go down on Caprica. So, Emily, give us a brief summary.
I knew you were going to say that. There's lots of people.
There were a lot of people.
And some cyborgs.
She said that like 10 times, and every time I corrected her and said Cylons, and now she just says it out of spite.
Their names are cyborgs.
They're Cylons. Open mind, Emily, open mind.
Their names are cyborgs. Steve is ruining this episode. Sorry, people. Alrighty, anyways. Yep, that's what happened. A baby was born.
You gotta remember a little bit. I mean, what about the ship?
They blew a ship up.
They did. Why?
I don't know. I don't know what ship they blew up, and I don't know why they did it.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, but I found myself thinking about other things as I was watching it, and then I was like, wait, what's going on? Oh, look, it's a cyborg.
Cylon. People, she's not even willing to be open-minded.
I'm
and
sorry, it's
experience the
just
things I
so
love.
boring.
It's not, though. It literally, like, the whole, I'll do the summary, apparently, because Emily didn't even watch.
I was watching, it didn't captivate my attention enough for me to actually care what was going on.
Okay, well, for the people out there who do care and care about the things that I love, I know that you do exist, people. So just to give you a brief summary, so the Cylons are chasing the humans, right? The humans are fleeing from them. And every 33 minutes on the dot, the Cylons will appear after they've made what they call an FTL jump, or faster than light jump. So they'll jump away, they'll run away, but then the Cylons find them every 33 minutes. And the crew of the Galactica don't have, like, they're all they got. They don't have a reserve unit. They don't have anybody to take their place. So they're all, like, just struggling to even stay awake because they've been running from the Cylons for, like, a few days, but every 33 minutes they still show up. And to calculate an FTL FTL jump takes time and a lot of like math, and it's easy to make a mistake. And so like that's what ended up happening was one of the ships in their fleet, which was the Olympic carrier, ended up not jumping with the rest after the Cylons had come, and it got left behind. And they realized later in the episode, when the Olympic carrier shows up again, that the Cylons definitely somehow invaded it, and they were going to use it to basically blow up the fleet. So they made the call to destroy the Olympic carrier, even though there's like 1,300 people on board.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch any of that.
Okay.
I knew that they were like, should we blow it up because there's people on there? But I didn't catch any of the other stuff that you said.
I mean, it doesn't help that you weren't able to see, like, in the miniseries, they do a lot better job introducing the characters, because it is confusing. There's a lot of characters. But, you know, you're just given a lot more time to learn about them and their lives and just who they are, and you get invested in them kind of quickly, but you didn't really get that time, so I get that. But.
I think the thing for me with this episode is there was just so much going on, like, all the time. And, like, there's so many people going back and forth on the phone with everyone. Everyone looked the same to me. Like, it was all white males with brown hair. They all looked exactly the same to me.
That is very incorrect.
Except for the old man and the man with the white hair, and the Asian cyborg, the other cyborg, and Starbucks.
Starbuck.
Those were the only people that I like knew who they were, and everyone else just looked exactly the same to me. Except for I knew who the doctor was because you could always just tell because he was with that blonde girl. And then the music on top of all that other stuff, it was just so distracting.
The music is one of my favorite parts. It's so good. It's so intense.
Yeah, it's too
very heavy
intense for
drum
people to know what's going on when they don't like sci-fi.
I am going to find a sci-fi show that you are going to like. It will happen. Maybe it's not this one, but it's an amazing show. It's really, really good. There's a lot of beautiful moments that happen. There's really great character development. I highly recommend to anyone who is not Emily, I guess.
But didn't I guess a lot of things right?
Sort of. I told you, though, that Gaius was like one of the, you learn in the miniseries that he was the one he was directly responsible for how the Cylons were able to basically obliterate the human race.
Oh, you told me that?
Oh, well, maybe you didn't hear me, but I definitely did. Pretty sure.
I also just have a horrible memory, so
Yeah.
probably I was like,
Probably
oh,
a subconscious thing.
and then I forgot.
You did call, though. You were like, oh, I bet he's the traitor. Yeah, he is.
Ooh, and then I was like, oh, has there ever been a baby with a cyborg, Cylon?
Good job, Emily.
I like cyborg better, and a human, and I was right.
Yeah, it's a major spoiler alert for the rest of the series, but yes, that does happen.
So, yeah.
So, Emily, tell me, what was your life lesson from Battlestar Galactica?
That sometimes the good outweighs the bad. They had to do that to the ship, even though they knew that some people were gonna have to die.
Mm-hmm. It's a really hard decision. One of the things I actually like about that is because Lee, who's like my favorite character, he's the one that ended up pulling the trigger to destroy the ship, and that actually kind of haunts him, and it affects him later down the road. Like, that doesn't leave him that he destroyed the ship and killed all those people.
Well, how could it not?
He
killed all those people.
I know.
So let's move into my drama show. Which,
I am all ears. I know I tend to rant. It's just because I'm passionate about these
Anne
things.
is so passionate, and I'm just like, yeah, I like this show. And here are the characters. And this is what it's about. Thanks, watch it.
It's good.
But my show is on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, and it's called 13 Reasons Why. I'm sure like a lot of people have heard about it, probably almost everyone. But you've heard of it, I know, Anne.
I have heard of it. You and one of our coworkers have talked about it, but I know there's like, there's like a Tyler and a Zach and a
Yeah.
Hannah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't she? No. I'm thinking of Pretty Little Liars.
Oh yeah, Hannah. There's a different character in Pretty Little Liars, also named Hannah, and she just annoys me. But anyways, 13 Reasons Why has 3 seasons currently. I'm going to show you the first episode of the entire show just because I feel like it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But basically, do you know what it's about?
Nope.
Okay. So it is about this girl, the first season at least, follows a girl named Hannah who is new at this high school, and it goes in between the present and the past.
Okay.
Of Hannah's life, because the first episode, we know that Hannah is dead.
Oh.
Hannah has committed suicide, and the show is called 13 Reasons Why because there's 13 episodes in the first season. Each episode is a reason why she did what she did. She records tapes before she commits suicide, and on each tape is a reason, and each reason is correlated to a person.
Okay.
So each person has their own tape. And everyone on the tapes hears all of the tapes, and they're the only people who have heard the tapes. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't think that did. But, okay, keep going.
Okay, I'm gonna go into the characters.
Okay.
So Hannah is the new girl, the girl who committed suicide.
Okay.
And then there's Clay Jensen, who he's kind of like our main character in this season besides Hannah. He's kind of the one that we follow with the most. And he was Hannah's friend, and he kind of had a crush on her, which you'll see throughout the season. Then there's Jessica and Alex. Those were like her two closest friends. They had kind of like, it was the three of them were like the close friends. Alex is also the son of the police deputy.
Okay.
And then Jessica is a cheerleader, so she's kind of like the popular girl. Then there's Justin Foley, which he was Hannah's ex-boyfriend. And he's a jock, so he's popular too. And then there's Hannah's parents, which you'll see a lot because they're trying to figure out what's going on, what happened with Hannah. Then there's Mr. Porter. He's the guidance counselor at the school. And then there is Tony, which is, he oversees the tapes and makes sure that everyone gets them.
Oh.
Because Hannah had told him, like, what's going on, that she needed him to, like, make sure that everybody hears these tapes.
Gotcha.
That's on them.
Okay.
Bryce Walker is, like, the most popular guy at school. And then there's a bunch of different little side characters, which is Zach, Tyler, Courtney, Sherry, Ryan. You might see them in the first episode, you might not. You'll hear them as time goes on in the season. And then last but not least is Clay's parents, because his mom is a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay, so it goes between the past and the present, and I think you might like this. It does that. You can tell like the past and the present with the color that they do.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Hannah is the narrator of the show. And each person, we get to know each of the characters that I just described in each episode because they each have a tape. So you get to know like why they're on the tapes and their relationship with Hannah. Yeah, season 1 is about Hannah and why she died. Season 2 is about, spoiler alerts, people. Season 2 is about the case against Hannah's parents and the school because they think that the school, like,
is responsible.
Yeah. And then season 3 is about Bryce and who killed him. Ooh. So good. So this show is really, really controversial actually because obviously it's all about a girl who commits suicide. We see the suicide happen.
Oh, really?
In the last episode.
Oh, wow.
So lots of people don't like this show. They don't want it to be shown to like kids in school because it glorifies or glamorizes suicide.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other, I don't know, like bullying and all this kind of stuff that happens in life. It's also on the show.
Okay.
But a lot of people think that it's really good because if you don't talk about it, then nobody knows what to do or nobody knows that
it's
you being
happening.
mean can affect a person this way.
I
So I like it because kids can see like the results of what they're doing that they think is just, haha, I was just poking fun. But you never know like how a person really,
how it impacts them and how it like, yeah, I get that.
So basically that's 13 Reasons Why, short and sweet. Any questions?
Is this like a mystery kind of, or, well, I mean, obviously you find out Hannah dies, but like, is there any sort of mystery or thriller aspect to it? Or is it more drama based?
I would say the first season probably really isn't that big of a mystery because you just find out information in each episode, but it's not really like a mystery. I would say season 3 is more of a mystery.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, but yeah, season 1 is more about like just getting to know all of the reasons why. Obviously, 13 reasons Reasons Why.
Oh, I get it.
So that's
clever.
the show.
Okay.
So let's watch it. Okay, so we just finished 13 Reasons Why, Season 1, Episode 1. What were your overall thoughts?
Well, I think first I'm going to summarize a little bit.
Yeah.
So, again, spoiler alert if you're planning on watching the show, but you find out pretty much right away that Hannah has committed suicide, and one of her co-workers / close friends, Clay, is kind of, you can, like, it opens up like him at school, and he keeps seeing, like, kind of things from the past, and you can tell he's kind of upset by this, but he doesn't talk to anybody about it. And then he gets a cassette tape, which I had to ask Emily. I was like, what decade is this? But then which is present day, but then he listens to the tape, and it's Hannah, and she's like talking to him, and she's about to explain her 13 reasons why she decided to commit suicide. And so then Clay is kind of goes through, life and is listening to the tapes while also like trying to figure out just like how to deal with it, really.
Mm-hmm.
So was that a decent summary?
Yeah.
So overall, I think I can understand why it's controversial, because I mean it's a difficult subject, not only to like talk about, but also to just like not be controversial.
Mm-hmm.
So I think overall, I think this show is sad. I feel like if I watched it all the way through, it would make me sad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I definitely am intrigued by the idea that Hannah left these messages in kind of this cryptic way. Like, that does kind of intrigue me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, okay, I feel like she's doing this for a very specific reason. And even like at one point she said, like, I did these cassettes for a reason. I could have just emailed you an MP3, but I needed to do it this way. Like, I don't really know why, because I haven't watched all of it, but that does kind of intrigue me, and it makes me like want to watch more.
Ooh, she said she wants to watch more.
I wouldn't say that I love it yet. I think in order to fully determine, because I really need to understand the 13 reasons, because like I will never fully understand, like, I've never been in a situation where like I've contemplated suicide, so I don't really understand that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand totally how difficult that must be, but I would need to fully understand and watch the whole show to fully understand, like, why was she in that mind space, and like why was she even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, watching back the first episode, it, like all first episodes of all series, I feel like it's not the best episode because you're getting introduced to all these characters.
Right.
The first like 20 minutes was like really cheesy, just like
I know.
weird interactions. Like every 5 seconds you meet someone new and it's just a weird interaction just so you know who these people are.
Yeah, there was literally one point where I looked at Emily and was like, that was the most awkward conversation I've ever watched on television.
Yeah, she's talking about Courtney, when Courtney comes the first time. But
it probably makes sense later why it's kind of awkward and stuff. But I did also appreciate at the very beginning of this episode, they had all the actors say like, hi, I am so-and-so, I am playing Clay, I am playing Hannah. And they did like a nice message that was like, this show is not, like the show is meant to have a conversation and it's supposed to bring kind of awareness. We're not, trying to like that's the purpose of the show. So if you have ever had these kind of thoughts, like this is where you can get help. So I thought that was good. I thought that was a good message.
Yeah, and Netflix also has like a mini series called Behind the Reasons where they talk with like psychiatrists and like doctors because they really did a lot of research before they did the show to make sure that they were doing it in the best way that they could. Yeah,
which I think again, I only saw the first episode, but just from that first message that they played even before, and they even said, like, if you are not in the right mind space, we don't recommend you watching the show or watch it with somebody that you trust, or, like, they had a good message at the beginning, so. I appreciate that they went through that effort. And I could, like I said, even though I've only seen the first episode, I can tell that they've gone through that effort. So I think that is important. So overall, I would not say love, but I am intrigued and I would be open to watching more.
Yay. Okay, I would totally watch this with you if you want.
Okay.
Cool. I love this show. So what was your learning lesson? What's it called?
Life lesson.
Life lessons.
Life
Like
lesson.
I'm new to this podcast or
Yeah,
something.
honestly, I think my biggest life lesson is like, this is real, like suicide is real, and I think it is important to have those conversations, and if you are ever feeling that way, it is really important that you talk to somebody. Like, I firmly believe that there is always a way out, and there's always somebody who is going to help you, and there's like something that can be done. And I do think, like, I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I think it's good that conversations are had because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my life lesson, is this is a real thing. It's important to talk about, and it's important to be aware of, and it's really important that you be there for people who reach out to you and help them to get help.
Amen.
So if you guys are interested in watching either of these shows, again, that was 13 Reasons Why. You can watch it. It's a Netflix original series. You can watch it on Netflix, or Battlestar Galactica. You can get it streaming on Amazon Prime. We highly encourage you guys to check us out. You can email us if you guys have any feedback. If you want to know more about Battlestar Galactica, I will happily talk to you about it. You can email us at loveversushatepodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can check us out on all of our socials on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
And YouTube.
And we have YouTube if you want to watch the episodes there, or listen rather.
Yeah. We are actually hoping to get some more video content out there. We do have some bonus content already on YouTube, so
check it out and make sure to subscribe there if you enjoy our podcast.
Yeah, so definitely hit us up on socials, subscribe, and rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcast app, all those wonderful things.
Yes, please do.